Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an MYRMIDON Druid build guide in Elden Ring. Now the MYRMIDON is extremely powerful and I'll be showing you a full build guide in how to make ourselves the best version of that. So we're going to be starting off with the Druid here. For our cantrip, Shillelagh, or Shillelagh as some people pronounce it, is incredible early game as you can give yourself a 4 to 11 damage club, and you can also use this on a torch, so I recommend doing that early game for an additional 1d4 damage. And then Thorn Whip is another great Druid exclusive cantrip. As for our ability scores, we do want to have a good amount of wisdom, but we do want to have a high dexterity as well, because that's going to give us high initiative. When we go into our wild shape forms, we actually don't keep any of these stats, but we do keep our initiative. So if we roll high, that's all better. So as for the stats, I would say to take down everything. Obviously having a good amount of constitution is important as well. So ideally we can get our constitution around 15 to 16-ish. If we take a 15, we can go a Tavern Brawler to boost that up. So we'll go with something like that, and then 10 strength as well. So somewhere around there is going to be good. The thing with the Druid is it does take the wild shape forms, armor class, and everything, so it becomes less important. I'll be going over the gear that we want near the end of this video, and just a better general way of how we're going to play this. So our subclass is obviously going to be Circle of the Moon. This is the only one that gets the MYRMIDON and all the other MYRMIDON forms. So we also get the Lunar Mend, uses our bonus action to heal ourselves. We get the wild shape beast, or we get the badger, spider, wolf, and cat wild shape forms, as well as the bear shape. So this gives us the polar bear with 30 health points. That's going to be a good one early on, and use the cat for any type of small holes that you need to get into, but typically you want to be in the bear form with this. So our cantrips, I think it's best to go with Create Water, because there's actually a lot of synergy with our MYRMIDON form. So if we set up water first and then wild shape, we can go and hit with our lightning attacks. It'll deal double damage, so that's huge. As for the rest of the spells, I think that Healing Word is a great one. Bonus action heal is really nice for picking up down to allies. Fog Cloud gives you a bit of place to stealth. And then Thunder Wave is nice for the pushback. You can go with Long Strider to increase movement speed, but you can have someone at your camp apply that to everyone. And then Ice Knife is good damage synergy with Create or Destroy Water. However, we're not going to be using our spells often with this build. Now, at level 3, we get ourselves a level 2 spell. I think it's actually best to go with Spike Growth. However, Moonbeam can be a decent choice as well, and Hold Person is my personal favorite, so I'm going to take that. This can be really great, because you can hold your concentration, go into wild shape form, and have your melee characters bash away at it, so that is a good option there. You can take Guidance if you already have Guidance, Resistance, or Produce Flame, and then for our next leveled spell, it put us back to Ice Knife, which is perfect. But for our first feat, I actually think it's best to add in Tavern Brawler, because what this does is we add our strength modifier twice the damage in attack rolls. So when we go into wild shape form, it's going to change our strength anyways, but this will double the strength modifier since we're attacking unarmed as a wild shape. So this is big. And for our MYRMIDON, this doesn't really benefit it that much, but it does in a way, because if we use a certain item, we can have one MYRMIDON and then a polar bear form per long rest, or owl bear form per short rest, I should say. And that'll give us a bit of a benefit. So we're going to take that with our constitution up to 16. Will give us a little bit more survivability outside of our wild shape. At level 5, we get that extra attack in wild shape, and that's a huge damage spike. I would recommend taking Call Lightning, because it can have some synergy with Create Water, doubling the damage of that. We're going to be going all in on the overall lightning damage of this build. But at level 6, we get the Owlbear form, which is huge, and Panther, which is nice for bosses to take down its armor class, but the Owlbear form is just really great for jumping attacks. And then we want to take Plant Growth. This is an incredible spell that can quarter movement speeds without concentration, so you can really tie up the enemy that way. Now at level 7, we get a huge power spike. So we get both the Woodland Being and the Conjure of Minor Elemental. The beautiful thing about the Woodland Being is it also gets another summon, and this can be our source of spike growth, because it can cast it and hold the concentration, so that we don't have to hold our concentration on that, which is really nice, because no one really likes holding concentration when we can have things like Call Lightning or go into wild shape form. Wall of Fire is another nice one, and Confusion, but we can take those a little bit later on. At level 8, we get the Saber-Tooth Tiger, can shred armor and regenerate health points. And then for our extra spell, Ice Storm is actually really synergetic on this build, so I'm going to take that because it can create ice surfaces. Kind of similar to Sleet Storm, but with damage. And then for our feat, I actually think it's best to go with higher dexterity. Giving us more initiative is huge. And then you could also potentially increase wisdom, but I think it's best to go with dexterity. since our wild shape form is our big one there. So at next level, I think it's best to take Conjure Elemental. Enough said, we can make an Air Myrmidon so that we got 2 of them on the battlefield. Or you can create a Water Myrmidon and it has some synergy with our Air Myrmidon, but I actually think it's best to go with the 2 Myrmidon forms. But here at level 10 is our big spike. We get our improved wild shape strike, so we can do 2 attacks, or 3 attacks total in wild shape. We also get to the Dilophosaurus, but the big ones being our Air Myrmidon form, which takes 2 wild shape forms. Earth, which does unarmed attacks, so it benefits from Tavern Brawler and can knock enemies down. The Fire Myrmidon comes with haste, so that's pretty crazy. And then the Water Myrmidon is also quite good because it can set up create water easily, so that is a really nice one as well. Insect Plague's probably the best spell. Making difficult terrain, we can pop this and then go into our wild shape form, and it's just good crowd control alongside the spike growth we get from our Woodwode. Now we can go one more level and get level 6 spells, which are nice, but you can have someone at camp do the Hero's Feast and apply that to everyone. I actually think to make this as strong as possible, we need to add in 2 things. So the Fighter will give us a heal when we're out of our wild shape as a bonus action, but the defense plus 1 armor class actually persists into our wild shape form. So taking this will give us a higher armor class, so no brainer. It also gives us our martial weapons, because we don't actually have weapon proficiencies for when we're in our wild shape form, which is kind of silly. And for the final level, I think it's actually best to add in the Cleric. Gives us some more cantrips. And go with the War Domain. This will give us bonus action attacks, furthering our damage potential. I think that this is just the best choice. We also get Sanctuary, so we could take Moonbeam as a Druid skill and then abuse. You can put yourself into Sanctuary and then use Moonbeam and not get hurt, which is kind of cool. And, yeah, we already got Create Water, but Bless and Command are pretty decent. You're not going to use them typically that much, but they're just good to have. So at level 12 here, we get some pretty fun options. So I'm going to show off the Air Myrmidon form here. But the typical way of doing our combat is we want to get our Woodland Being up. So we're going to summon her in. And then she has her own summon. So the Dryad here, she can do her Spike Growth, which is awesome. But then she also has the Woodwode here. So she has 22 health, he has 42. So they're a little tanky. They can take hits for the team, and they can entangle. So they got some good options. They got healing. These work together well with the Druid. We also have minor elementals. Ice Methods work pretty well for this because they just deal additional cold damage that can be doubled with Create Water, which is really nice. So we got multiple different ice attacks there. But the big one here is we also got our Conjure Elemental. We can go with another Myrmidon. So we can go with 2 Air Myrmidons. I highly recommend doing this route because 2 of them can stun multiple people per turn, and that stun is so good. But even so, the Water Elemental is nice too because you can attack. Its main hand attack, the Water Elemental will apply Create Water, and then it'll double the damage of our lightning attacks. But even the Water Myrmidon is another great option, so I'm going to summon him in. And what's nice about the Water Myrmidon is it has 125 health, and it has cold attacks, so Primal Strike, Explosive Icicle there. It's got its own Trident of the Depths there. And the Healing Vapors. This will apply water to the entire area. So it does heal nearby creatures, but it'll also apply water. So it's pretty worthwhile setting this up. We got our little posse of enemies here. And then what we want to do is we want to get into our wild shape form. So we can use that. And again, this is about the Air Myrmidon, which is really good. So we can transform ourselves into the Air Myrmidon, and here we are. We look pretty cool. But the strategy that we want to be using with the Air Myrmidon, so I'm using the, I guess you can't show it the armor off, but the armor will give us 22 temporary health and give us a bit of a higher armor class. So we got our 16 base armor class, 2 from dexterity, 1 from defense, so that's the fighter's defense. As well, we also get the +2 lunar protection. So we, I wouldn't recommend attacking with your main hand. You can attack with the Electrified Flail, and this will add that 1d8 lightning and 1d10 lightning to all our attacks, and potentially stun the enemy. That doesn't happen with our main hand attack, so there's literally no point to use a regular main hand attack. The best option is to just use that. So typically what we want to do is we want to set up with our Water Myrmidon. Now, unfortunately, it won't let us do the healing attack because we're not actually in combat, but for us, what we want to do is we want to get in there and just start bonking with our electrified flail. So just a little, you can show, I'll just show what it could do. So we didn't end up getting the stun off there, but you can keep going until you, oh, we did stun finally. So once you stun, they can't take any actions. So you can literally just go around trying to stun everyone, and that is typically combat, is going around with the electrified flail. So that potential 18 lightning damage can be doubled with Create Water, so that is a huge benefit of that, is we get to roll multiple dice for damage. So yeah, you can literally just tear through here and smack people with this electrified flail, and it does tons of damage. So very effective. Oh, we got a critical hit there, and we stunned. That is the ideal attack roll there, and we have a really high chance of hitting, like 95% on all of these. We also get the Raging Vortex, so that is another thing that we can use to silence. So silenced in the area, which is really nice, and they'll try to run away from that vortex. We also get invisibility, so you can turn yourself invisible, giving you advantage on your attack rolls. Lunar Mend to heal. Elemental Warp, which is a bonus action Misty Step. This build comes with a lot of benefits, and yeah, we typically just want to be going around with our electrified flail. I don't know how I got 1,000 experience there, but yeah, we're hitting for a huge amount of damage. We got burned off on there somehow, but yeah, this build is crazy powerful. So I highly recommend trying this out, because the Air Myrmidon itself is strong, like very, very strong. Minsk is dodging these. I have him all geared up pretty well, but there we go, we're finally hitting him. And we got the stun off. So typically you want to get as many stuns as you possibly can, because that's just going to give them no actions or reactions, and you can just go around basically do whatever you want with them. So the Air Myrmidon is very powerful, and I guess I'll attack the Duke here to get us into a combat, so you can kind of see the overall strategy with the Water Myrmidon. So the Water Myrmidon can go with the Healing Vapors here, which will heal you, and everyone will get wet. So then we can go back to ourselves, and with our electrified flail, it's going to deal double damage from the Create Water if we can hit. And we got the we got electrified water there, so that's unfortunate. Now he has really high defense, but you can see the damage numbers are really high there. And yeah, the typical strategy. Oh, nice, we were able to take him out. So yeah, the typical strategy in combat is to use your electrified flail 3 times per turn. And yeah, you can set up Create Water with your Water Myrmidon there. And then on top of that, we also have our Ice Methods, which will deal additional damage from the water as well. So you can get them going and then just attack with like Chromatic Orbs. She doesn't have the wet applied to her, but you can create icy surfaces then for enemies to slip and fall. So this build goes pretty hard, and yeah, this is an Air Myrmidon build in Baldur's Gate 3. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.